up, guys? I don't know. I never know what to do with my hand when I come into frame. And I think I originally wanted it to be like a cool, like peace sign thing, but it's like devolved into like just like a weird hand gesture. I don't know what that's all about, but it's not important right now. So this is Judas ASMR. Welcome in. See, I just did it again. Did you see it? I just did it again. Welcome. I'm just gonna wave like a normal person. Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. If you know what that's from, you get extra points. Anyways, welcome. This is Judas ASMR, and today I wanted to talk about anime. I think so much of this channel has just kind of become me talking about things that I enjoy and that I have a passion for, or that my hobbies and things like that. And so I felt like it was only a matter of time before we talked about anime. I've been watching anime for a very long time. I always like to tell people my first ever anime. So here's the thing. I don't count like Naruto or Dragon Ball Z as my favorite, or not, sorry, as my first animes, because I feel like everybody watched Dragon Ball Z and Naruto, like even before they knew like what anime was, you know. Because like back in the day, Naruto and Dragon Ball Z were just cartoons, right? Only when you got like a little bit older and you like actually understood what anime was, then it was like, oh, this is anime, I get it now, you know, whatever. So my first anime that I watched, when I actually knew what anime was Soul Eater. That was like the first one I really sat down and I was like, let me check out this cool anime stuff. Like I like other anime stuff, like Naruto and stuff. So let me check this out. Soul Eater. I watched a lot of Soul Eater and I enjoyed a lot of it. Soul Eater was definitely like just one of those shows that, you know, just had a very specific charm to it, right? I'm trying to figure out if I want this to be like a series or not. And I think that's something I've been kind of flirting with. The idea of with a lot of my videos, it's like deciding like what things I want to be series and what things I don't. So I've been kind of slowly trying to figure it out, right? So as of right now, we're going to say that this can possibly be a series, maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go, you know what I mean? So as of right now, the title's going to be, Anime Showtime. That sucks. That's horrible. Give me another chance. What I'm watching this week. Okay? That's pretty good. What I'm watching this week, anime edition. It's probably going to be titled something different, but it doesn't matter. I love like, I don't know why, but I have this weird habit of like talking like in my videos, like as if I'm talking to you guys. And like, you can't hear me. Well, I mean, you can't hear me, but you can't hear me live. See, now I just sound like a crazy person. We're just going to keep going. So what I'm watching this week, anime edition. So for this, I am only going to be showing things that are, you know, relevant to this season. So for anybody who doesn't watch a lot of anime, they break it down into like seasons, like kind of like school, you know. So it's like fall semester, there's spring, there's summer, you know, and what month and day an anime comes out puts it into a certain season. So we're going to be mostly talking about the fall season of anime. So let's get right into it. We're going to jump right into, and I'm just going to be showing the camera, like my phone. I think I kind of fixed it so like it's not so horribly blurry. At least we're going to hope so. So this is the first thing I'm watching. Bam. Boku no Hero Academia final season. Okay. So let me yap about My Hero Academia for a little bit. So My Hero Academia holds a special place in my heart. I wouldn't even say that it is like my favorite of all time show, but it does hold a special place in my heart because it is the first show that I've ever like been there for from the beginning and got to actually see the conclusion of it. Especially something that's so long, 7 seasons. It's a big reason I'll never watch One Piece. I know you guys are out there. I know you One Piece fans are going to be in the comments typing away. Here's the thing. I understand that it's probably great, but I do not have time for 1,000 episodes of anything. You'll never get it out of me. It's just not going to happen, okay? Now, I did hear that they're possibly thinking about doing giving One Piece like the Brotherhood treatment, where they're going to cut out a lot of the filler and update the animation and stuff like that, and kind of re-release some of the episodes in a better order. I may check that. If they do that, I may check that out. That might be the way you get me to watch One Piece. But as it stands right now, 1,000 episodes. It's not happening. It's not happening, okay? But back to My Hero. I remember when season 1 of My Hero Academia came out, I was just immediately in love, right? As somebody who's always been a superhero fan, I love Marvel, I love DC. I like Marvel more, but I love DC as well. And just seeing this cool superhero world and the underdog story, it just felt like classic superhero, having Midoriya gaining this power that he didn't have, and I don't know. I do understand that a lot of people got a little bored in the middle, around season 3 and 4, because they honestly did start doing a lot of filler stuff, going to the musical festival and stuff like that. But I think that's just anime. When something is that long, there is bound to be some filler. So yes, there was some filler. The middle seasons were a little weaker, but these last 3 seasons, 5, 6, and 7, especially 7, the final season, has been phenomenal. So if you dropped My Hero in the middle because of all the filler, push through it, because these last seasons have been great. They are worth it. They're worth it. It's really good. But I'm also biased. I am a My Hero fan. That's the first thing. So that's a sequel, right? So we're going to talk about some original shows now. The next one I want to talk about is Genosha. Genosha is literally Among Us. It's literally Among Us. I will try to give the best spoiler-free, info about this show. So a character wakes up on a ship, a spaceship, and they are shuttled by someone on the ship to this meeting room. There are 4 people. They are then informed that one of those people is an alien species who wants to kill everybody on the ship, right? And it's literally they actually use the Salem wolf. I forget the name of the game, but the game that Among Us was based off of, where it would be a wolf in a town, and every single night they would have to vote someone out of the town. And if they guess correctly, then they win. But if they guess incorrectly, then the wolf has an opportunity to kill someone that night, right? And the next morning, you see someone died. That tells you that you didn't guess correctly who the wolf was, and you continue the game. If the wolf's left alive, then the wolf wins. If the humans can guess the wolf out before he kills everybody, then the humans win, right? And it's literally that. There's an alien species who took over somebody's body, and they're trying to blend in. Every day they do a vote for who is going to go into like deep cryo sleep. Because if, they can put the monster in cryo sleep, then they win, and the ship will tell them like if they did it correctly. But if they don't, then the monster creature has an ability while everyone is asleep to kill one person. And so it's like, it's literally Among Us. And it is really, really cool because they could have just fully stuck to like a straight up Among Us where it's just a bunch of people and they're just trying to guess who's the bad person. But there is a very unique spin that they put on the concept that I think is really cool. I think now that I'm 5 or 6 episodes in, I do think the plot lines are getting a little weaker, but I just enjoy the premise so much of like, guess who's the Among Us character, guess who's the wolf or whatever, that is kind of keeping me in, right? Keeping me into the game. So I wouldn't say that this one is like a ultimate recommendation, but I'd say, give it an episode or two. If it sounds, if you want Among Us TV show, give it a try. Genosha. That's going to be G for golf. I gotta look back at it now. G for golf, N for November, O for Oscar, S for Sierra, I for India, and A for Alpha. Genosha. So that's our one original season. Let's go for another one. Okay, here's the next one. This one, we're going to talk about it. We have Shumatsu Touring. Ignore my text messages. I should probably turn off my notifications, but whatever. Shumatsu Touring. They're on a motorcycle, if you can't tell. The English title, Touring After the Apocalypse. So Touring After let me just read the synopsis. Why am I getting? All alone after the end of days, 2 girls bike through the empty ruins of Japan. And they're not about to let the collapse of civilization get in the way of sightseeing. Even when the world ends, their journey goes on. So this is a show I should start doing. See, that's how you can tell this is a new series, because I'm working out the kinks. So I should read the synopsis and then give my personal, recap, So like it says, you have these 2 girls. It's a very cutesy anime, and they are touring the world. You know that it's the end of the world. There are no people. Everything's it looks like an apocalyptic world, right? Like everything's flooded. Trees and things have overcame all the buildings, and there's no people. All the cars are trashed, and there are these 2 girls with this electric bike, and they're just touring around and seeing Tokyo or Japan. I think they're in Japan. I think so. What's so cool about this show is that on the surface, it seems like a very cutesy anime, a very typical slice of life, and it does kind of make you wonder, why are these girls in the apocalypse? What's going on here? And what I love about this show is that it's not just a cutesy slice of life. There's also small hints that you get that give you clues to what happened. There's small moments that happen that are so emotional and deep, just as a hey, there's more going on here. This isn't just a show about cute girls doing cute things. There's some real things going on here. And I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it, but I definitely give that one, give it an episode or 2. Honestly, I love when anime, they kind of give you a really good idea of hey, in the first episode, this is going to tell you if you like it or not, right? So if that sounds interesting, that synopsis and, kind of like that, there's something slightly more going on here. Check out, let me find the English title again. Check out Turing After the Apocalypse. So we're going to do, how much time do I have? We're going to do one more. Yeah, we're going to do one more. Let's see which one we want to do. I don't know if I want to recommend this one or not. Yeah, we're gonna do it. Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. It's loading. Okay. So the next thing we have here is Sanda. Now let me read you the synopsis because this one is a hoot. I don't know why I did that. In a future where children are few and regarded as Japan's most valuable assets, Christmas has become a mere legend of the past. For the students of Daikoku Welfare Academy, a boarding school where they are educated, protected, and monitored, the mythical Santa Claus is a forgotten character of fiction. For the adults, Santa Claus is a very real menace that needs to be neutralized by the Saint Nick Pursuit Unit in case he makes an appearance. So, let me read it. There's a little bit more to the synopsis. Shiori Fuyumura, a student at Daikoku Welfare Academy, is determined to find her best friend, Ichi Ono, who has been declared dead after been missing for 6 months. One morning, Fuyumura summons her fellow class representative, Kaizushiga Sanda, only to attack the unknowing boy. She is convinced that Sanda is the descendant of the infamous Santa Claus, the only person who can make her wish of finding Onos come true, and is determined to force out his dormant true self by any means necessary. We got an anime about Santa Claus before GTA 6. We got an anime about Santa Claus, Saint Nicholas before GTA 6. When I decided to watch this show, it was kind of like for the meme. It was like, okay, it's like a Santa Claus anime, like whatever. And I was expecting this really like shallow, like just because it's Christmas time, like anime. What I actually got is something so much deeper. There's so much depth to the story. There's so much world building. Because like, it said in the synopsis, this is a world where it's like after like a war. And so like, the birth rate has declined. So children are like a protected species, protected class of people. That's a better way to put that. Children are a protected class of people. And like seeing what that looks like and seeing like how that would maybe operate is really cool. But then, you also have a character who is a descendant of Santa Claus. And it's not like you maybe couldn't really see it in the picture, but it's not like, the traditional viewing of Santa Claus. It's like this super buff, like invincible Santa Claus. And it's really cool. Like there's just, like I said, this show is a lot deeper than what I was expecting. Like it's not just a silly show about Santa Claus. Like there's some actual, things being shown. There's some actual things being talked about, like being an adult versus being a child and that process and how you change when going through that process. It gets a lot deeper than you expect it to, but it's also just like a really cool premise for a show. Like, So yeah, I'll give Sanda a watch if that interests you. Give it an episode or two. Also, really cool animation style. It does not have like the typical animation style like that we've grown used to. For those of us who watch a lot of anime, they did something really unique that I really like. Because I thought when I first saw it that it would bother me, but when I'm actually watching the show and I'm getting immersed, like I think it's kind of just cool, you know. So yeah, if you want something, you know, that is relevant to the season, you know, of the holidays, check out Sanda. I will give a warning, because I know that some people are very sensitive to certain things, like not in a bad way, but just like a literal way. So it is like a show about children that sometimes get into very violent situations. So if that's something that bothers you, then it might not be, you know, a good show for you. I mean, keep in mind as well that I have not finished any of these shows. Like half of the time when I am picking them out, I've only ever seen like 1 or 2 episodes. And so like I can't give a warning for everything in the show because I don't know everything in the show. So, you know, do your own research and, you know, watch the show at your own desire. But yeah, I think that's going to be, you know, what I'm watching this season, this fall season of anime. I might do a part 2 of this because there are a couple more things that I'm watching, but I didn't want to make this video too long. So yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys around.